I hope you all had a delicious lunch, isn't it? You know, it's very difficult to follow a boring presentation after lunch. But you know what's even more difficult is actually giving the presentation. Right? So I will not bore you along, but I will share another point of view. Since morning, we have had great presentations and excellent insights from eminent speakers. Let's see. What do you see common among all these personalities? Yes, you're right. They're all successful, they made big, they become celebrities. But that's not the point. At some point of time, they were all normal employees. They were all working like a normal employees, but they did not play the game. They reinvented their game. They haven't followed the incremental path. They reimagined their own journeys. There's one more commonality. Can anyone guess? Excellent. They were all ex-employees of McDonald's. At some point of time, they were all flipping the burgers. But they didn't stay. They leapfrogged from flipping burgers to flipping their own scripts. So they were leapfrogged to do something very, very different. What about our own GCC story? How do we do a quantum leap to where we are to where we want to be? Let's look at where we are. We all collectively made an economic impact of about $241 billion, almost $250 billion. Is it not a big achievement? Give a big round of applause to every one of you here who actually contributed to this success. How long it took? About 15 years of all of our hard work by doing an incremental GCC by GCC, offering by offering. Now, what brought us from where to now? Will it take us from where now we are to where we want to be? Do we need to leapfrog to the next level? Yes. We have a great revolution happening in the cognitive space with generative AI today. So we had management consulting companies this morning did a panel discussion. They did a survey with all the GCCs. About 15% of the GCCs are using generative AI to do innovation. That's about 1 in 8 POCs are only going into the production. In fact, there is a lighter talk that is going on. There is a POC fatigue in the market. Let's double click this. What does it mean to all of us? So 70% of the GCCs believe generative AI is their top priority. About 84% of the people says we use Gen AI for innovation. In spite of that, only 15% you see the production success. By the way, leadership says generative AI is expediting the decision-making process. Why? Everyone says there is an issue with the talent gaps. Now let's look at what if we don't think generative AI as a disruptor but as a catalyst for all of our success? What if we turn 15% success rate of Gen AI to about 85%? Right now it looks like we are all sitting in Ferrari but driving in the first gear. And that gearbox is nothing but generative AI. We are working at full capacity but only half potential. Can we leapfrog from here to where we want to be? You can never build the future with yesterday's mindset. GCCs are meant for process efficiency, but I am unveiling a new coin here to leapfrog where we are to where we want to be, is the cognitive capability centers. What does it mean? The cognitive capability centers predominantly looking at how do we transform from delivery to decisiveness, from operations to orchestration, and back office to the brain trust of the enterprise. Unless we transform, we flip the story of generative AI as our own catalyst, we become the AI hub or AI brain of the enterprises, we will not move into the next leapfrog. Now, that moment is here. We are at the critical juncture of cognitive revolution, and there is a big wave of cognitive leap that is happening as we speak. You see a fire there? India has the GCC depth, and we have the depth of the IT services, and generative AI is the spark. And the fire is the leadership. Fire does not wait for the permissions. So this is the moment for all of us to leapfrog. We need to move from celebrating setups of GCCs to celebrating significance of intelligence. Now you see there is a robo which is bringing gold coins. So as we speak now, GCCs measure insights, KPIs, head count. But what will happen when you become a cognitive capability center? You look at heads that can count. You look for outcomes, you look for intelligence, you look for value creation. And it is expected to transform the current headcount from 2.1 million to 4 million. But this is not about scaling the headcount. This is about scaling the intelligence. It's not the headcount, it is the heads that can count. That's a journey where we are looking to leapfrog. We are sitting at a cognitive cliff. What we do tomorrow will decide whether we are going to jump or fly in our own journeys. Let me tell you an example what we are doing at McDonald's. As you all know, you must have visited busy restaurants. And you might see what is there so great serving the food. But it becomes little tricky when there are so many customers and so many channels of getting the requests. A drive-through, a mobile application, customers walking in. How do you ensure the right delivery to the right customer? We have implemented generative AI, with which it ensures the order accuracy. It preempts all the errors before it goes to the customer. It's a simple solution, a vision AI model. And if you go to any one of you visit high-tech city, you get two things. Exceptional bugger and a generative AI which is working. All of you can see here. And as we speak, we implemented generative AI in about 400 restaurants. And we are going through a large transformation in the history, about 40,000 restaurants. We are going through a cognitive transformation journey. And at McDonald's, we don't just adopt AI, but we actually transform with AI. That is what we call it as cognitive leap. That's it. Thank you so much. This is Durga Prakash working for McDonald's global offices along with leaders sitting here.